I'm a marine biology and wildlife conservation student, and so that means I take a ton of science courses here at the university, genetics and geology type stuff and ecology, and so there have been a couple instances where I've had difficulty rectifying what I read in the Bible versus what I'm taught in class. So like, for example, when I was teaching youth group in Skidmore last week, we were talking about Noah's Ark and the flood, and Jack Whelan, my preacher, he mentioned that there was a sphere of water around the earth, whereas like when I've been taught geological timescale and science and stuff, I've never heard anything like that, and it was really hard for me to rectify. What advice do you have for me when in regards to the science that I have to do for school and for my job versus what I read in the Bible?
As I said earlier, science doesn't say anything scientists do. There are many different theories about many different things. First of all, you have to try and discover what the text in the Bible says. Is this a literal text? Is this an allegorical text? What is the purpose of the text? What would the people who this was written to, what would they have thought about it, right? And then you have to look at the scientific theory and try and discover, is the data good? Is it being interpreted properly? And there are always assumptions that go into that. And there's always assumptions that go into this as well. So you just have to make your best judgment. Let me give you an example of Genesis 1, right? People are always saying, what about Genesis 1? What's the kind of literature in Genesis 1? Well, to me, it certainly seems like it's an historical account told in a poetic way, right? You've got 3 days that have certain characteristics and they conform to the next 3 days. And God said starts every phrase, and God saw it was good, ends every day, I should say. And day 1 and day 4 are congruent, day 2 and day 5 and day 3 and day 6. And so there's a rhythm there. And it seems that Genesis 1 is a polemic against the Egyptian creation account. Who was Genesis 1 written by? Moses. When? Right after they came out of Egypt. Now, these people who are coming out of Egypt are not walking through the desert asking questions we might ask, like, I wonder how old this place is. You know, I wonder if creation or evolution is true or anything. They're not asking those questions. What they want to know is, who is the true God? Is it the Egyptian gods or is it Yahweh? And if you look at an Egyptian creation account, somehow there are beings who either are self-created or already exist in the universe, and they somehow bring order to the chaos. Moses comes along and says, no, God is outside the universe. He created everything, and he brings order from the chaos. And so, depending on how literally you're going to take that passage, might either cause you problems or not problems when you're trying to look at scientific data, which also makes assumptions that can't always be proven.
So do you think that I should keep the scientific data that I use in school and work and everything separate from my biblical belief? Or do you think it's okay to intertwine?
No, you should integrate them and know that there are areas that you might not be able to figure out. Okay? Because again, science doesn't say anything scientists do. Science by definition is tentative.